This is my last podcast of 2024, and I'm actually recording it on the 31st of December. So I'm sitting here watching the last sunrise of 2024 as I'm recording this episode. It's actually really beautiful. But essentially, in today's episode, which wraps up the end of year mini wrap series that I've done on this podcast channel, I'm going to be sharing with you the goals that I've set myself for 2025 and kind of how I came across those goals and just dive a bit deeper into the process and how to approach this whole goal setting aspect, because everybody jumps onto the bandwagon at this time of year with thinking about what they want to do in 2025. But the reality is, for the majority of people, come February, March 2025, a lot of those goals that they have earnestly set themselves at the end of December have been totally forgotten, abandoned, or just never ever started. And I think that's a real pity and a real shame. And I think a lot of it is because people have a great idea, they get caught up in the hype of the moment, but then they're not so aligned with the idea in the first place to really follow through on it. Now, for all of 2024, I followed the 12-week year principle, which, if you've been listening to the previous two episodes, you will already be familiar with. And it's helped me in so many ways, particularly when it has come down to reflecting on what I have achieved over the course of this year. In fact, I did something that I've never done before on my Instagram, in that I actually posted 4 carousels, each reflecting the 4 quarters of 2024 and the highlights from each of them. Because I'd been tracking my progress every single month, it was so easy for me to select some highlights to share with you all than it has ever been before in the past, when I've usually just done a reel or something like this, highlighting what I could remember. So I'm definitely going to continue this 12-week year practice into 2025, because I have found it so valuable this year, not only just for achieving things, but also for being able to track and reflect on what I've actually done over the course of the year, which, we might think we remember what we do, but the reality is life gets busy and we end up doing a lot of things over the course of the year. And I guarantee you there will be things that you have forgotten that you have done. Whereas if you're tracking it, you get to read back over all of the things you've done, and it's a really beautiful reflection. So when it comes to my goals for 2025, this year I did something that I've not done before. I listened to a podcast episode by Mel Robbins. I'm going to put the link below in the show notes if you want to go ahead and listen to it too, because actually it's an excellent podcast episode. You can watch it on YouTube or you can listen to it on Spotify, but I'll put the link to the YouTube version below. And essentially, she lists 7 questions that you should ask yourself before we enter the new year. And these 7 questions really give you direction as to what your goals should be, and also enable you to reflect on both your wins and also your kind of difficult moments of 2024. And the reason this is so important is because those moments give you direction as to what you want out of the coming year. And it's just a fantastic episode. And I did this on Sunday, and I sat down and answered these 7 questions. And it's so interesting what came out on the back of them, because I realized that there are some things that I definitely still want to continue doing into 2025. There are also quite a few things that I want to stop doing. And it's interesting because by analyzing my life in this way, I've been able to form my 2025 goals. And I'm going to divide them into 2 categories for this episode. We're going to be talking about my personal goals for 2025 and my work-related goals for next year as well. So starting with my personal goals for 2025, the first thing that I want to really focus on in 2025 is taking more risks and making more changes. Now, I definitely think I've become a bit risk averse in the previous few years that I have lived here in Italy, predominantly because I'm not in my comfort zone. I'm in a country that is not my own. And even to this day, there are parts of the bureaucracy and systems here that I still don't understand. And so as a result, I have definitely become a little bit more scared of taking risks compared to if I were living back in the UK. So this year, I want to change that in 2025, because I really do believe that life is about taking risks and making changes, as scary as they may feel at the time. Every single change that I have ever made has only ever led me to better things. And that is what I need to keep reminding myself, because I have made some big changes here in Italy. I've changed city, I've changed jobs in the past, and every time that I've done that, I've always upgraded myself in some way. So this is definitely something that I want to focus on doing more in 2025, not being afraid to take risks and make changes and actually embracing them, because that is really and truly how you evolve and grow as a person. The second personal goal that I have set myself for 2025 is to let people be them, let them. And this is definitely something inspired by Mel Robbins' latest book, which I actually got to start reading just after Christmas, which is incredible. I highly recommend it, by the way. But essentially, I've spent a lot of this year consumed by the behavior of other people, consumed by what people say and do and their actions. And at times, I have let it affect me, let it stress me, let it irritate me, let it get me down. But essentially, whenever I've done that, I have basically given away my power and given away the control that I have over my own life, because I've just basically let somebody else trample all over it. But the control always lies with us. And that is something that I have forgotten at points this year. So in 2025, I'm all about let them. Let people be them. Let people do what they want to do, say what they want to say, think what they want to think. It doesn't matter. I will let them be them, and I will let me be me, and focus on the actions, behaviors, and kind of life that I can control. And this is going to be very liberating on the one hand, because I'm not going to allow the trajectory of my life to be in the hands of somebody else. But also, it's going to be very healthy as well, because there is no sense in life to be stressed over things that you cannot control. Using this let them principle is just going to allow me to, well, not only feel better, but also see the true characters of other people, because this principle really does reveal to you what people are really like. And so then I can understand if I've been wasting my time with some people, or if, some people are worth more time and effort. So I think it's going to be a very revealing principle to follow in 2025. So that is why that is one of my goals for next year. My third personal goal for next year is that I want to focus more on exercise and living a healthier lifestyle. Now, I wouldn't say that my lifestyle is 100% unhealthy. I do kind of move around a lot. I'm quite active as a person. With my work, especially, my work is very sedentary. I sit down for large chunks of the day. So I'm definitely sitting down more now than probably I've ever done in my life. And I do feel it at times. Like, I do notice that there are points of the year where I feel quite sluggish and just feel a bit meh. And I think a lot of that is because I'm just not moving as much as I'm used to. So I've decided that I want to buy an exercise bike. That will be my first purchase of 2025. And I'm going to incorporate riding that exercise bike every single morning with listening to a podcast episode or watching a video. So I'm doing two different things at the same time. But just even 20 to 30 minutes of exercise every single day like that, combined with regular walks, is going to make me feel so much better, because whenever I've had a really active day, I feel really, really good. But when I've had a slow day where I've not really moved very much and, I don't have the same levels of energy. So this is definitely something I want to focus on. And combined into this kind of healthy focus for next year is that I want to drink less alcohol. Now, of course, I don't drink alcohol every minute of every day, but I do drink it quite frequently. And I think I want alcohol for me now to be more of a pleasure rather than something that is more of a routine. And so that is something that I want to do. I want to cut back on like drinking alcohol, maybe limiting it to just once a week, or like a couple of times a week, but always just less than what I do now, because I think that also is going to make me feel better as well. So I'm definitely focusing in on looking after myself more personally in 2025, because I realize without your health, you have nothing. And I really want to build upon my health so that I can have the things that I want in my life. Now, moving into my work related goals for 2025. The first work related goal of next year is that I want to really focus on community with my brand. I have noticed that I've really built a sense of community, especially on my YouTube channel, because I have a lot of interactions with my subscribers. I'm left really, really long comments on my videos, and I see that I'm growing something very special over there. And it takes time. And, people might look from an outsider's perspective and think, goodness me, like it's taken her ages to grow that channel. She's not even at 10,000 subscribers yet. I've got a channel that's like 20 plus thousand subscribers. I'm doing so well. But the reality is, I'm growing a community, and a community takes time to grow. And every day my channel is growing with new subscribers. And really, I think I've mastered the essence of what YouTube is about. YouTube is not about the numbers, YouTube is about the community. And what I have seen is that my channel is progressing really well because I'm building that community. It is super, super important. And so I'm very proud of what I've done. And I will definitely be working more on building community with my brand into 2025. And that involves maybe building new products and services for people to help to really flourish and grow this community, because I'm all about helping expats bloom here in South Italy. And that means that I'm teaching you the reality. I'm teaching you the less than pretty things, but also I'm showing you the beautiful aspects as well, to give you this really balanced perspective of life here. And so that's what I want to continue growing into 2025. My second work related goal for 2025 is that I really want to focus more on education and on building my knowledge and skill sets, particularly around social media and marketing. Now, something that I have learned, especially over the course of this year, is that social media is ever evolving and changing. And if you don't keep yourself educated, you will very quickly fall behind with latest trends, developments, things like this. If I want to be good at what I do, I have to invest the time into learning my craft and building upon it. And that is essentially what I want to do into 2025. I did start dabbling with this idea latter part of this year in terms of dedicating time for learning in my kind of weekly schedule, but I didn't always stick to it. But next year, I really, really want to. I want to really make sure that I carve out, even if it's just 30 minutes or an hour here and there in the course of a week, purely dedicated to learning. And that means watching content about social media or marketing, using the existing resources that I have available, seeking out new resources, just constantly educating myself in whatever way, shape I can to make me become better at my craft and what I do. So that is going to be my second goal for 2025. And the third work related goal that I have for next year is that I want to build my professional community. So you can see community is quite a big theme for me next year in terms of what I'm doing. But in terms of my professional community, I've realized that when you have a YouTube channel and when you're kind of building a brand, not everybody gets you, not everybody understands or supports you, because it's not on everybody's radar to have a YouTube channel or to build a business in this way. And so I really and truly want to start seeking out more like-minded people and really building my professional contacts, because I have also realized that if you want to be successful in life, you don't build that success on your own, you build it with the people that you know. And so that is another focus of mine this year, to do more collaborations, to meet different people who are also doing similar things, and just to start to build my professional community, because that is going to be a source of support, because you can't always get that from your existing community of friends and family, because they don't always understand what it is that you're doing. So these are the 6 goals that I have set myself for 2025, 3 personal related and 3 work related. And the reason I've kept my goals really streamlined for next year is because I know that if you set yourself too many goals, you are very unlikely to achieve any of them. And so for this, I always believe that less is more. And if there are any more things that I decide I want to do during the course of the year, I can add them at any time. But also, even within the work related goals, even though there are 3, there are little subsections within some of those goals, which I will also focus on. So I have a lot to get, started with for 2025, but I'm really, really excited. I've already selected my word for the year. In fact, I did it through one of those crazy Instagram posts where you have to screenshot the moving words. And this word really stuck with me. evolve is my word for 2025. And if you look at all the goals that I've set myself, they all involve some kind of evolution, whether it be with my brand or with myself as a person. So I definitely think that's a beautiful word to carry me through into 2025. So my final tips for you when it comes to goal setting are to keep your goals streamlined. Don't set too many goals. Keep them simple and add to them during the year if you find that you've already reached or met those particular goals. But don't overcomplicate them. Really look at what you've done this year, really reflect on what worked and what didn't, and allow that to guide you as to what to focus on in 2025. And also make goals that make sense to you. Like, don't create goals based on what other people are doing or something you've seen on social media. Make it work for you. And I promise you, you'll have a much better chance of actually reaching success with them. I wish you a happy, prosperous, and wonderful new year. And I will see you in 2025.